That's a nice breeze now. You mean it's perfectly fine? Apparently I finished his quest for him. I need to find where that key goes. Oh, where?
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
I caught none of that. What do I have to do in Whitechapel area? Over. I can try and do that. Get my ass handed to me. Why not?
Everything would be better.
Bring follow the road.
We even used to be neighbours, for Christ's sake.
I'd prefer not to give you another beating, Barrett.
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
How is business around here?
Business? I had no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
Let's see what you're
Right then. Show me what you have.
Currently need rivets for my that's work. Stabilize medicine. Retail.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Go around the church and hang in. Small flower bouquet with a voucher for a free medical checkup in the flowers. If you're sick, if you have no money, whoever you are, wherever you're from, come see Dorothy. Get help. No tricks, no charge, no questions asked. Find Darius' house and present this cube. Vanished as well. A little better.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly. You don't seem to need my medical attention for now. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? Melia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary.
That worked beautifully.
A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever.
Details! Oh good, she's healthy. Migraine, recovery, bronchitis, which I don't have here for. You're fine. You're fucked somewhere.
Very well.
Reverend Henry King.
There's safer places to be than here. I said stay away, sir. Shut over there! There's one of them burning! Back, demon! Back!
Okay.
Stay back, beast!
Oh. That's a thing. I would like to use my dash. I would like to use my dash. Oh, I'm going to die because I can't use my dash, so says the game. There we go. Holy shit. Let's try that one again. So I need to figure out how the Reverend fight now. That is really hard to get out of it. What the hell did I get hit by? Huh. At least I know they take down my blood. To dispatch the lower level ones faster. Don't want him, thank you.
I shall fear no evil!
Good for you.
Go on back to the shadows! Roll back to the hell that spawned you!
Oh, that de-targets me. That's why I'm having problems with this bastard.
Back, demon! Back!
Excuse me. Stop that.
Stop! Vampyr! I order you to step back. I shall fear no evil!
Well, they're effectively locked when they're doing that.
This
Oh, that was
man stunned me with his faith. His crucifix. This is not good news.
Where was it? Go up here, past the intersection. Past that intersection. Hang right. Oh, I think. I like things. Hearing something. I'm not liking those sounds either. Oh, hideout. Just what I needed. I do. Better. Nope. Need good handle. tiny bit handle that one. Wood turkey parts. Don't go on top. Shotgun over. Common turkey. Common hand. Almost. Four of that. Four common hand. One more for that. Handling very good on. Oh, you're not. May have been a apothecary. Oh? Ritual.
Step away, sir.
There we go.
This one's mine!
I mean, I feel bad for them, however. I think I'm in the right area. This building here, apparently. Thank you. Whoa. That's a lot of friends you suddenly have. Oh no, energy. That was the thing. Holy shit, that's much longer than I wanted it to. Really? I mean, I do have a... Well, not specifically grenades, but I do have active equivalent. Dance with you. Probably go the back way. This motherfucker.
Steady, coach, we've got one here! Die, vermin!
More than 2 at a time, they can give me a bit of trouble. Where was it? Go around this side of the building this time. Okay. We would appreciate it if you would stop. Feeding train! Help! What the hell was that? Those ones? Oh Lord, there's that aggravating that's work. You just found someone. Bring the inhabitants of Whitechapel. believe that's my primary quest. Get any? Unlike
Hello, sir. Sorry to disturb you at this hour. I'm a doctor inquiring about the epidemic. May I come in?
A doctor, you say? No, thank you.
All right. I shan't insist. Goodbye for now, sir.
Fortunately, I'm gonna have to do fight every time. However, I can up my other abilities as well. But you won't let me do anything just yet. Off this. I I already talked to him. Currently have. Great. Great, I've died recently. Fuck, that means Stinglemoss is going to be back. Oh, that was a legendary character I picked out. That's why he's not back.
Don't like that, do ya?
That is incredibly wonderful for me.
It's locked.
Open. Apparently need to help you.
You look so pale, my lord. Would you like me to revive you?
Slightly less now.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick, though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Do you need any assistance, Miss Popper?
It depends on the price of your medicine.
I am shocked that you would think I am that sort of man.
Forgive my suspicion. I'm so used to liars with good manners. Thank you, sir.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Reasonable.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly, but it is not your concern, Doctor.
I haven't unlocked anything else for you.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
For recovering, which is that. Oh Lord.
Now he judges your words and actions.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
You hurt me.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
I have a small list of issues, my friend. That is not the least of them.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Lord. You listen to your point of view out of my own mere curiosity.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Oh?
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Ah, but one must temper the flames or else you make everything brittle. Ta-ta-da.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher, a small-time Torquemada, the Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
You're not exactly doing much yourself there.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a...
But you...
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I send him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Well, I mean, there's bound to be a large number of fucking Ridwin there.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
I have heard enough for tonight. Good evening, Mr. Whitaker.
It's Father Whitaker, my son. So, are you still lost in your rational delusions?
Don't you fear getting sick yourself?
I've been touched by God's grace. I am perfectly healthy.
You're gently delusional.
I have heard enough for tonight.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
I know that name. Why do I know the name Clayton Darby?
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious, never goes out, doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Yes?
He has no relatives at all?
No, except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Ah, so that's why I saw him behind the church.
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
Great, that was a recent thing at this point in time.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
Fair enough.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
Fair enough.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Fair enough. Unfortunate. Fair enough.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
I served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught during my investigation.
You need fatigue.
I will see you later. Goodbye, Mr. Darby.
Be back up. Regular fatigue. Get him there. Find him in a moment. Where's my nearest thing? Immediate left.
Pay me a glass and I'll be gentle.
Down here.
Pay me a bottle and I'll
No.
be
It's locked, all right.
Huh. Oh, it's... Brown Batista. Where do I go? Got it. Wait a minute.
How are you, boy?
I'm not.
Oh, nothing. Yet.
Goodbye, young man.
Need to. He has fatigue. And she's recovering.
Someday you'll understand.
Where there was another way into that hideout. I walked by it.
I cannot enter.
I have to go to another hideout. Friends are assholes. And that package was just gently startling, apparently. I swore there was another entry to it. Oh. Down here. And right, go straight down.
More and more of these bloody leeches every night.
This is what you get for being an asshole to your poor friend.
Oh, Christ! Watch it!
A hell of a squeal you got there, buddy. Hey, I think that's enough to upgrade some. Right. I'm facing the wrong way completely. Got it.
Over there! There's one of them vermin! Right, vermin! Fucking beast! Shoot it! I hate leeches.
There we go. Girl getting bit. Or fatigue. Because it has such a small magazine. I need one more tiny handle part still. Bunch of common handle parts. Got it.
locked, all right.
That's unfortunate. Where am I? Here, so I want to come. Oh, I want him. That's not. And you. Excuse me, I said you.
Good evening, Doctor. Can I?
Do you need assistance?
That would be.
If you persist in investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
That is technically 3 people cured. But while I'm thinking about it, the wrong button. This. You have a headache. Ooh, they haven't met yet. They would like to get the fuck out. Thank you. I feel much better. You straight up, and there's somebody else over here. In the mailbox with the letter. What is locked? It is.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Just the man I'm looking to see. Bastard.
Do you need medical attention, sir?
It may be wise to let you prescribe me something. I don't feel like I should.
We're cold.
I will see you later. May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
I enjoy how you changed up the end there.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Settling for anyone who get it.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear Doctor.
I mean...
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives, how she survives, whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
I mean, I've recently been turned vampire, so I'm not allowed to talk on these
The
subjects.
barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
You are very much a poet, sir.
Did you know the Mute Florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the precious Camellia.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic, Mr. Nethercott.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Reed.
Are you not curious? Is there not more you wish to know?
That girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be hiding, it's certain to be for the benefit of most, if not all.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
Fair enough.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
I see you're a grumpy individual about it.
I'll leave you alone.
refusal. Sycophant Publishing Limited, Lavender Court, Camden Street, London. Dear Mr. Nithercott, thank you for sending your book of poems, Songs from the Defeated City, which we found as interesting and profound as we told you the first time we received it. Alas, in this terrible time of our country, this terrible time our country is currently facing, you must understand that such a title would be totally inappropriate for any publication. Thus, since you refuse to change your title and demand the full publication of none of your work, I'm sorry to announce that Sycophant Publishing chose the second option. With kindest regards, A.G. Morse. Fair enough. You have a cold that I need to cure very quickly before I go to sleep tonight. Hello. I mean, I can, but there's a mailbox over here I need to poke. Like... My dearest, most beloved children, I am so sorry that you have not heard from me in a few months. The situation in London has been difficult. I know it may sound selfish and silly when you, my children, are still living in a country consumed by war. But there is still also war going on here in England. A war against poverty, against injustice. This is a war I intend to fight despite my advancing years. This is why I am writing you today. I won't be coming back to Romania. That probably means I won't see you again before I die. Don't be sad, my darlings. You are grown up now, and you have children of your own. You know the sacrifice we sometimes must accept to make the world a better place. This is one I must make now, to feel useful one more time. I wish you a long and happy life. Kiss my grandchildren for me, and remember your father loves you all, away from his cold, damp country. I am as ever your loving father, Darius Biscuit.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter. Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Let's talk to the mute again, because that's such a rapturing conversation.
Tell me about Richard Nithercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia.
I don't know what he was expecting.
Very well. Goodbye then.
Aim to go cure Mr. Withercott of the cold. Whitechapel. I mean, I can go straight up around over here. Going about facing that one. Out of potassium. Take one for sepsis, one for anemia while I'm here. Alright, I have one of everything except for pneumonia. Yes, apparently, fuck pneumonia. Sucks. You should unlock this. Sir, I have your cure.
Good evening, Mr. Nithercott.
And good evening to you too, my good sir. Can I be of any help?
Do you need
Yes,
medical
shove this
attention,
up your
sir?
ass and
It
feel
may
better.
be wise to let you prescribe me something. I don't feel like I should.
I mean, I think it's meant to be oral medication, but just for you, it's a
I
suppository.
understand your appetite for words and macabre beauty, sir. But you should be more careful.
The nutrition of my mind is more important than my physical health. But I appreciate your concern, sir.
Hey, I got an achievement for that. Hippocratic Oath.
I'll leave
Oh wait,
you
now.
alone.
Don't die mysteriously in the back alley on me. I need you alive because I've already killed one person. Back in. Going over here again. Good. Away! Pretty small. Covering.
Come on, we can sort it out, right?
It's not my call, Barrett. You pay one way or another.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson's son, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Can I offer you my medical expertise, Mr. Peterson?
The name is Colossus Joe. I don't get sick.
You're a special type of twat.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
I mean, you're a thug, so I can understand.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Fair enough.
You survive at any cost, even at the expense of others. Perhaps that's just the law of nature.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Oh.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Cheap price, good quality. Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? Joe Peterson,
He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I'd known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Without making excuses for him, it's safe to say that despair can poison even the sanest mind.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against a wet boot boy.
Right then, show me what you have.
Great, I couldn't recycle that.
You again?
Goodbye, Mr.
Recovering, migrating, healthy. Okay, we need to get you that here. You'll have a headache. I'm going to have a lot of headaches to take care of in a short while.
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way. Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
Pardon me while I rob this. You paying attention?
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Do you need any medical help, young man?
Yes, I do. I feel so tired. I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
You'll feel better with this, but you need to get a grip, young man. Medication alone won't cure melancholia.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in a world like this. But I thank you for your concern, sir.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
You have a roof over your head, a place to call home.
Many people here are not as lucky, you know.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. But I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Reasonable.
Your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that he joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Unfortunate way to look at it, lad.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
It's locked.
Dear Mr. Peterson, it is my duty to inform you of our refusal to accept your application for a job at the dockyard. I must thank you for the time spent at our office explaining the difficulty of your situation with your ill boy and the loss of your beloved wife. But it is also my duty to point out the policy of our company, which expressly reproves the employment of former criminals or convicts. Your unfortunate connection with the ill-fighting Wet Boot Boys has been duly noted. These are hard times, sir, and Finch and Harper intend to reward the finest candidates who pass the small equity like to conduct about our employees. You have my deepest sympathy, and may God be with you and your family. Sincerely, R.D. Harper. Thank you.
So, may I ask you...
I'm not bothered.
What do you do?
Goodbye, young man.
Rain?
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
There we go. Where'd the woo bastard go? Ah, there he is.
Don't let your guard down, sir.
You again?
Why do you keep on working for the gang, Joe? You know it doesn't suit you.
It's true, I hate this job. And I know I made some bad choices, but I'm a wet boot boy now. People won't forget it.
You could leave tomorrow. Start another life in another town.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. We are poor. My son's weak. And there's no way he'll endure another disappointment.
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel. Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else. Whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Do you have any regrets?
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side. She died when Harry was little. My sweet Jane. She gave the boy confidence.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested, are you not afraid of what would happen to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
I know it's hard to believe, but this district has always been wretched. Thank you,
Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again. Go away.
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
The dick with a capital. Taking your money and all your. Oh yeah, he needs him. Of my many journeys, I believe I was the most amazed by my expedition to the Mediterranean islands, and particularly the island of San Ontario, searching for traces of vampire presence in the sunburnt land. Herodotus himself refers to the island as in his fourth book, and I'm personally convicted that there are many mysteries to be unveiled in this part of the world. Who knows that, even today, the island of Sarotini is still considered by some as the most vampire-infested place in the world, way more than the Carpathian, and that its inhabitants are considered as specialists of the vampire hunt, or the hunt for repercussions, as they call this. Oh, that's a name. That would be very Kolakas. Still, that's a name. According to the local myths, the Verikolakas is a dead person who does not decay, and who can show the vermilion complexion as long as he is gorged with fresh blood. He cannot enter a house without knocking and getting response. Garlic makes him flee. He does not consume under the sun, but his skin blackened. He can change into a wolf and other animals. What struck me the most was that the same name exists with small variations from Mediterranean Sea to the Balkans. The Greeks call him Verikolakes. Bulgarians and the Macedonians name him Varkolak or Vakolaka. Sorry? Varkolak. Siberians call him Volkodak. Yes, Volkodak, a name so similar to Volkod that we already know, my dear brother. Just to write a few words now gives me the shivers. I'm personally convinced that we are here confronted to some proto-vampire. Maybe they are a missing link between the modern vampires and the creatures that came before. If God allows me enough time, I wish one day to go back to Serotonin Island and find the trail of this antique and forgotten figure. From Drinking at the Fountain of Knowledge by Usher Tall-Tree, Primate of St. Paul. Fair enough. That was a lot of reading.
It's locked, all right.
Apparently he has the key. Oh, look, chicken.
If you want to talk to Dorothea, you must go across the courtyard and take the stairs.
We've not been formally introduced. May I ask your name and occupation, sir?
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm here to keep snitches and spies away from Dorothea. And I also run this little print shop.
Fair enough.
So Dorothy's real name is not Crane?
Like myself and many people in this area. Dorothea is from occupied Romania. That's all you need to know.
She seems important to the community.
More than you can imagine. The West End does not want to hear of Whitechapel's misery. Dorothea is one of the few doing something about it.
Did you refuse to publish Richard Nethercott's previous works, Darius?
Yes, his manuscript is as pompous as he is starched. Now there's a man who loves the sound of his own voice.
You could have told him so.
As a great writer recently said, politeness is the most acceptable hypocrisy.
Hey, we'll give you that.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Are you not worried for her safety?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever too. If only I had met her when I was younger.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr. Petrescu?
Don't be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
Who is she, really? Do you know where she's from?
She's not from around here, that's all we know. Camellia is not even her name. It's her favorite flower.
You say she has no close family?
Well, there's that awful poet who constantly follows her around like a lost puppy. A good man for sure, but a very poor writer.
Tell me everything.
I do not...
Do you have any family left, Mr. Petrescu? Children or grandchildren?
Who knows? I have abandoned my people for so long, they might as well be dead. As dead as I am for them, I suppose.
Don't be embarrassed, sir. If you must know, my own father disappeared many years ago, and I forgave him.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families like this, but thank you, Dr. Reed. I appreciate your trust.
This war won't last forever. Did you ever think of returning to your country now it's free?
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of better times to cherish.
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered, and I know I won't see my homeland again. But I fought for Romania all my life, and I will until my last breath.
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a free country again.
It is not the country I fought for. My homeland is not appeased, Doctor. And I still see a dark future ahead for my people.
How did you meet Nurse Crane, Darius? Why does she trust you?
I'm her oldest friend in England. Dorothea and I share many ideas about this country and about the country we left.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you? Even if not directly, I fought against your enemies.
Really? Then perhaps you have more in common with Dorothea than meets the eye, Dr. Reed.
Do you need some help, Mr. Petrescu?
I am very tired, but that is all. I don't need you, Doctor.
Well, I think you do. Take this, and you'll feel better.
Free drugs from an English doctor? It must be my lucky day.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
I think he said around the corner up the stairs, something like that. Now I can go through here without having to bother the good printer. Pardon me while I loot everything that isn't nailed down. Dorothy Crane, and by the looks of it, somebody who's about to turn. And a note. London, the 31st of October. My dear Dorothea, when you read this letter, I will be on a boat that will take Anton and me back to Brasov. England was not for us, and I confess I cannot wait to again see proud hills of Transylvania. As soon as we are there, I promise I'll light a candle in the Black Church and pray for you to survive this terrible epidemic. I know that you do not agree with this decision, and that you are determined to be more useful by helping comrades exiled in the East End. But Anton cannot wait to return to our beloved country, and see our long-awaited revolution. He is my husband. I will stay by his side. I know we have our arguments and our fights. I know you would have wanted me to stay by your side and help you manage this clinic of yours. But now that I'm leaving England, be assured that if anything would happen to you, if you ever were in great trouble or danger, I would come back immediately to London, with or without Anton. Please think of me as such as I think of you. I am your affectionate sister, Theodora.
I need help!
Good help.
What do we have here, nurse?
Patient Raz Van Vasily, high fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain, diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort, liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Thank you, nurse. Anything else I should know?
He did lose consciousness this morning, but he's never had convulsions like these.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
Tracheotomy, emergency.
What can I do, Doctor?
It's too dangerous to operate with these convulsions. Sedative, nurse. Do we have any anesthetics?
I'm sorry, Doctor, none at all.
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, Doctor. He's breathing again, but he's coughing up blood.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy. Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Right then, Nurse Crane. What do you suggest we do?
I've no idea. I'm not the doctor.
Time is of the essence. We need to perform a thoracic drain.
Yes, Doctor. He's still bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see. I must first suture the artery. Find the wound. The source of the blood.
Needle and thread, Doctor.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his
Addictions are a
pulse.
pain
He's
in the
dying,
ass.
Doctor.
Oh.
A dose of epinephrine, now.
Yes, Doctor.
Cardiac massage, if I remember correctly, is a last case scenario.
We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could. Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No. There was something more vile in these reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
I doubt you're here to test my bedside manners.
I wonder if there is a way to save
To
him?
what do I owe this courtesy?
It would be difficult. It would require more medical knowledge than what I have. Because I am by no means a doctor.
Dr. Reed, you shouldn't be here. Razvan was getting better with the treatment. I don't understand.
It is a sanguine vera parasite or vampirism. There was literally nothing I could do to save him.
So, what's to be done now, Doctor?
Huh.
I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us. So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reed?
I've come to put an end to this insufferable blackmailing, Dorothy.
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do? I'm all these people have.
But why Lady Ashbury? Why her, of all people?
She's pristine and proper, all right. But that she-wolf in sheep's clothing murders the poor for sport. I have her where she belongs, and I'll milk her for all she's got.
Dr. Swansea is a sensible and honest man. He wouldn't have refused your friend's care at Pembroke.
It's easy for you to say, Doctor. These people cannot go to the police, nor to the hospital. They don't even speak English. They depend on me for everything.
So, the end justifies the means. Is that your defense?
I know you're kind, Doctor. Just another fine-heeled, silver-spooned gentleman who was given the world on a platter. You know nothing of poverty, nothing of the shame, the hunger, the loneliness.
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
Listen very carefully, Dorothy. You will erase from your memory everything you pretend to know about Lady Ashbury and Pembroke Hospital.
Let that rich bitch off the hook over my dead
Nurse
body.
Crane, enough. Listen as if your life depended on every word. I know you've a generous heart who gives freely to those in need, but you shall walk away from the shadier streets of your business.
I will never abandon...
Dorothy, the discussion has come to a close. Your clandestine activities in the Resistance are over. Let it go.
I'll let it go. Yes. All gone.
Achievement Cat. Interview with a vampire. We should be able to. Most likely need...
It's locked. It's locked.
Apparently everything's locked now. Well, shit. Well,
This one stinks already.
It's a leech!
apparently they are killing the people in this. I think you're bullshit. The only one infected in the building other than me is the gentleman who is now dead in the bed. That is all. So, while her mental faculties reassemble themselves after reorientation, we'll say, excuse me, sir. You're all a bunch of assholes.
This one's a top.
I do enjoy that fighting someone basically fully restores your stamina no matter what. Loot all the bodies. I doubt it's because I opened up that. Could unlock this one as well.
Hello, Mr. Petrescu.
Hello, Dr. Reed. Come on in. Yes?
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
Okay, so he's relatively okay now by the looks of it. Which hideout is that one there? The main quest is now go talk to her. Let's go to the hideout, see if I can do anything with that.
Joe, please, I don't have your money.
Come on, Barrett, you know the game. You pay for peace of mind.
What was that one?
It's locked, all right.
Is it still locked? What did I do to lock it? Did I leave the keys inside? Alright, this area. I should be able to go upstairs. Oh, hi. I'll leave you the fuck alone for the moment. Oh, there's the other one. Any luck, that should have unlocked that. If not, I'm just going to have to go through there again. Hey, I can go in through this door now. Ooh, Bueller. Apparently. They may have gotten a little bit overzealous with that. Vampires drink blood. This may be the most specific trace of the sinister peculiarity of their condition, if I may say so. But for me, this is not the most important characteristic of their diet. What has always fascinated me since I started to study them is the imperative need for blood they seem to endure. They want it more than anything. This desire can drive them to expose themselves, and when they drink it, they seem to feel some sort of trance. An ecstatic epiphany. Sorry. Yeah, no, that's right. Said to me once by a Volkoid I interviewed in Moscow. I am convinced that this is an essential element to understand the nature and condition of the vampires. They don't drink blood because it sustains them, but that it offers them ecstasy. Vampires are addicted to blood. All of them. It's a part of their nature, and those among the immortals who refuse to submit to their appetite by the strength of their will only are never freed from this addiction. From the Unveiling the Night by Usher Talltree, Primate of St. Paul. I mean, in all fairness, it's being addicted to blood as much as being addicted to most food substances. That one is outside. And this is right here. Okay. So I'm going to go rest and level up. And I'm going to end it here for tonight. Oh, what do I want to upgrade? Oh, I can't actually increase my stamina anymore. Well, shit. I haven't really been having a problem with blood capacity. Mostly just stamina I've had a problem. I mean, in the fights I get into, this is much more useful. You need 2,000 for that. So that's the next one I work on, then Blood Spear. Yeah, no, because a single hit tends to get rid of my blood barrier. Actually, I'm going to reset all if I can. Try out the Shadow Mist, actually. I did quite enjoy using this. I don't need regeneration, really. At least not from the bite, because I tend to bite and then immediately regenerate. Actually going to leave it there for now. I'll figure out what to do with the last 1200 points later. Reports of mysterious disappearances have escalated in the past weeks. It has reached to the point where the witnesses have the queue before recounting their testimonies to an officer. Although this phenomenon appears to be a nationwide occurrence, the statements of the last 24 hours have converged around a single area in the country, Whitechapel, London. Yes, once more, the despised and loathed East End is left to struggle on its own, continuously overlooked by the authorities, even while numerous families from this district report the unexplained disappearances of relatives and neighbors. What has happened to these missing individuals? Where are they? The only link between them seems to be their health and their need for urgent medical attention. Until recently, it was a local secret that the only place to get help was a discreet dispensary managed by the unidentified Good Samaritans, but this place now seems to be closed, and no one has any news of from that facility. Did the missing persons go to a more secret place? Have they been discreetly moved to a more official service? One day soon, the London City Council Board of Health will have an answer to this mystery. That's that. Migraine. Joe Pedersen has fatigue, which I need to keep next. Oh. Fatigue, 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 and a headache. Races have changed. Don't know what you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 cases of fatigue, mostly among the staff. 1 case of migraine. 1 case of fatigue, 2 migraine. Missing. That would be greatly unfortunate. Either way, we'll figure this out next time. Bye-bye.